And there we are. Wow, we actually had one person waiting for the start. That's awesome. I'm gonna give it like a little bit more to... Oh, and they're not waiting anymore. Awesome. Thanks for nothing. So, I'm gonna give this a second to populate, but for anyone who's going to watch this... For anyone who's going to watch this playback later, welcome to another edition of the Mostly Mazda Vidcast, where I talk nonsense, mostly about Mazdas, and I now, I don't know where I'm going. I'm talking to no one but myself. Now I'm talking to myself and one other person. Hello! Two more people. Excellent. Alright, let's get the chat going so I can see what's going on. A thumbs up, thank you. I'm supposed to be going actually live at 7, but I figured I'd let this go a few minutes and let it populate with people so we'd have something to talk about. I've got my advertiser-friendly adult beverage. I'm not going to say what it is, because if you mention anything unsavory in the first few minutes of anything, advertisers don't like it. So I'm having yellow water. So for the couple of people that are already in here, it's the same format as last time. I've got a whole list of things that I wrote down that I wanted to talk about. And has anyone said anything yet? No comments. So, yeah. Anybody, let me know how the stream's going on your end. How's the quality? How's the sound and everything? Please comment, just so I know for sure how good or bad it's going. Well, hey, how's the stream on your end? I asked the other people in here, and no one had anything to say about the sound quality and video quality before I actually... Looks crispy, hell yeah. That's what I like to hear. So, we got a handful of people. Sounds good, looks good. For me, it's okay. Thank you. Someone finally said something. I appreciate it. So, I was just saying, I've got my list of things I want to talk about. Various things. Mostly, I actually just want to start. God, this isn't working out. I'm just stumbling for my words. Very clear. Excellent. So, firstly, it's been a little bit since I've done one of these. It was probably right around the beginning of the whole COVID thing, I think was the last one I did. Might have been in the middle somewhere. Might have been around June, July. I don't remember when the last one was, but I hope everyone's well, staying safe, being smart, all that stuff. If you don't think COVID's real, I don't give a shit. Things like that. So basically, I hope everyone's well and doing the best they can, all things considered. So I wanted to get that out of the way and just make sure that all my people are doing good. So I guess I'm just gonna kick it off with the handful of people we've got. What I've got written down here first is I have a livery, which doing good here in Toronto. Excellent. So I'm starting it off with I have a livery, and anyone on here who follows me on Instagram, which the comparison of subscribers to Instagram followers is kind of shocking. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, you would already know what it looks like. There's going to be a video about it. And stuff. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, get on there at HiroshimaSpirit, all one word. It's pretty simple. And you can see an early picture of the livery I have just applied to the Mazda 2. So, as I said a second ago, there's going to be a video breakdown. I've got a couple other little projects I want to work on this weekend, so I'm going to be getting into a little video breakdown on that. Also talking about The Hella lights, I've gotten a lot of questions about those lately. So, again, hop on Instagram. You can check that out. 3 horns now. Hey, you can never have enough horns on a small car, but I like the one that this one comes with. It's like a Ford parts bin item. I swear the horn, the stock horn on the 2 is like from an F-150 or something. It's super loud. I love it. But in a small car, you can never have a loud enough horn, so that works out. But yeah, I'm gonna keep rambling over and over. Have a livery video breakdown to come. If you want to see a quick preview of it, hop on Instagram at HiroshimaSpirit, and we can get that all taken care of, and you can feast your eyes on that. And I guess some people might be thinking, well, you've got a livery on your Mazda 2. Are you ever going to do another track day so you're not just hard parking? And yes, in fact, I am planning on doing another track day here in the next month. I'm targeting November, an event with Track Night in America, SCCA Track Night in America at Palm Beach International Raceway. So if anyone wants to come into the chat with some super chat and drop me some money, that'll help me get there faster. I've got tires, brakes, and of course admission to take care of before I can go ahead and do that. But yeah, so yeah, another track day coming to match the ridiculously cool livery I just hand installed myself on the 2. Didn't even use a vinyl cutting machine or anything. Did it all by hand from scratch. So go check that out. And yeah, I've really been wanting to get back to another track day, and I guess arguably you could say, why am I spending money on vinyl and applying a livery to the car when I could just be putting that money toward getting on track? And honestly, vinyl is, holy crap, $10 worth of brakes. I appreciate it. That'll get me most of the way to a fresh bottle of fluid, so I can bleed with some fresh high temp fluid. So I appreciate that very much. You're awesome. But yeah, I've really been wanting to get back on track, and it's just I've been saving up. I've been trying to amass funds so I can just do it all one weekend, get the car prepped, buy the admission, and go. So that's been coming, and I'm pretty close here. So anyway, as I was saying, vinyl versus admission and preparation for a track day, you know, vinyl's really inexpensive. It's a lot of fun to play with, and it's satisfying once you see it done. So it's, you know, it's one of those things where you have a bigger goal, but short-term satisfaction sometimes reigns supreme. So in that regard, I'm gonna have a super rad car when I finally get back on track again. Fingers crossed, hopefully next month. Yeah, the sun strip surprisingly came out clean, and it made it kind of was the catalyst that led to me doing more and like sticking a whole livery on the car, because I was like, well, if I can do a sun strip, maybe I can mess around with more vinyl and dress up the car, and it's really been having me or I've been feeling creative in the past few days as a result. And that led to the title of this iteration of the vidcast. So yeah, feeling creative, slap delivery on the car, excited to get it back on track, and you know, I'm just I say it all the time. I'm a dumb race car racer, so I like the look at me aesthetic of and the naughty feeling, you know, of driving around in a kind of racy looking car on the street. It's dumb, whatever, but I enjoy it, and the car looks cool, so whatever. And to the point of wanting to get back on track, I've got a little side note here. That's one of the reasons why I'm getting into better shape. Since, you know, a few months ago I called myself out for being rather rotund in one of my videos, and suggesting that I should lose weight and that it would help with my lap times and, my general fitness as well. And that has elevated not only my attitude, but just my level of energy. And I've never felt better, I guess I should say. I'm not the kind of person that makes my fitness journey other people's problem, but uh, I suffer from depression quite a bit, and just just feeling down all the time. Not anymore though. Since I've been exercising, I've lost over 40 pounds, and I just feel great. And I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, my ultimate dream is to race cars. Probably not for a living because I'm not stinking rich. I'm not a doctor or a proctologist, anything like that. But maybe as a hobbyist. So I started thinking about it in regards to that. Um, Getting in shape to be better in the motorsports realm. Thank you for those kind words. I am keeping it up, and it's boy, the once you get to a certain point and you set a goal, like, oh, I'm trying to get to 190, and I'll still be overweight at 190, but I'm trying to get to 190, and that last 8 or 10 pounds that I'm trying to get through is a bitch. God, it's so hard. You plateau so hard. But the point I'm getting to is anyone who's a member of the Mazda 2 owners group on Facebook, or really anyone who's a fan of the whole track day game. Geno Manley, I've met him. I shared a track with him once. He's kind of moved on from the two a little bit and the two community, but man, he started an IMSA race yesterday in the Michelin Pilot Challenge, driving an Audi TCR car, and it's inspiring. Obviously, Gino knows the right people. He's obviously got the funding. He's able to. I need to pick his brain, is what I need to do, because I guess my ultimate motorsports dream is to buy a seat in the Rolex 24 and finish. That's my ultimate motorsports dream. I don't have to win. I don't even have to podium. I want to buy a seat in a GTD car, an amateur class car, and just finish. That's all I want to do. And seeing someone from the Mazda 2 community ascend through the track day game and, the endurance crap can racing with Champ Car and AER and things like that, and ascending to the ranks of IMSA, a series that I'm a big fan of, it's just really inspiring. So it kind of has driven my want to continue to get into better shape. So yeah, I'm gotta start somewhere. So I'm taking my dumb little slow car and doing a track day, and I'm trying to not be as fat. The only thing I need to do from there is secure lots of money. That's any motorsports story, you know. Hey, well, anyone can do it. Anybody can do it. It takes commitment and motivation, and it's tough to get motivated. Believe me. Greetings from Puerto Rico. Hey, buddy. You comment on my videos all the time. It's nice to talk to you. So yeah, to wrap up the whole track day thing, that's what I'm trying to do. Getting in shape, getting some seat time. Now all I got to do is secure professional motorsports money, which I might have to go to school or something, get a raise or something, complicated things. Let's move on from that. I've talked long enough about that. I did want to move on to discussing the Mazda 3 Turbo. That's been big news. I'm a little late to that news. There's no scoop or news break here, but it's exciting that Mazda finally has released the Mazda 3 with the 2.5-liter turbo engine and all-wheel drive. I know a big stick in people's butts is that it's automatic only, but I guess what I have to say is once you hit puberty and you are able to realize that not everything needs to be manual, you grow up. It doesn't matter. Mazda's automatics are a-okay. I'd buy one with the automatic. You're not you're not missing anything. Mazda's modern manuals are so numb feeling that you might as well buy the automatic. I said it. The clutch pedals don't feel like anything. The shifters don't feel like anything unless it's a Miata. So at that point, and the fact that 10 people nationwide want the manual, it doesn't make business sense, so it's not coming. The fact that Mazda takes such care to develop their automatics to be as engaging and controllable as possible, because with a Mazda automatic, you put it over into manual mode and it'll bounce off the rev limiter until you tell it to shift. So you're in full control. It's not like you're missing anything with when I say the 2 was the last of the great feeling manual cars. Yeah, I'd say this 2 was the last of the modern manual cars. And even at that point, in stock form, it was a little bit numb. But have I been in a 2020 Yaris? No, I haven't had a chance to go in one, but I would love to. But speaking from firsthand experience, even in stock form, the 2's clutch pedal and shifter were just kind of there, but the aftermarket improves that and stuff. So, yeah, I would say the 2's one of the last great cars, period, because it's 2,300 pounds. It was certainly the lightest thing sold in 2014. And minimal driver aids. Yes, it's electric power steering, but it's got fully defeatable traction and stability control. It's got all that junk. It's lightweight. It's fun to drive. It's really one of the last greats. So yeah. But anyway, going back to the Mazda 3 Turbo, who cares if it's automatic? It'll still be fun to drive, and with 250 horsepower and 310, 20 pound-feet of torque, I bet the thing's a rocket ship. I really want to have a go in one whenever they hit dealer lots. I really wish that you could get... I really wish I could get press cars doing this gig. Where's the green 2? It is with my partner who is out with her friends. It's still around. I've had a lot of questions about the lime green car. It's the automatic one. It's her daily driver. There's nothing special about it. It's the daily beater. This is the fun one that gets all the mods. The other one, we just kind of take care of it when it needs stuff, and it stays stock and automatic. So, although I'm thinking of fitting Fiesta, like stock Fiesta suspension to lift it a little bit, and trying to find some goofy knobby tires and throw some mud flaps on it and do a dumb rally car or overland thing. But other than that, the green car's still around. I know. I wish I could have, if Spirited Green Metallic would have been a color option in 2014, and there would have been a manual one on the lot, that would have been the one. The only reason why I ended up with silver is because it was the only one they had. No, I did not do a rear brake conversion. I do want to eventually, if for nothing else, looks, because the stock drums perform just fine, and they will outlast any set of disc brakes. So that's on the back burner, but I definitely, because I want everything for this car. It's all a matter of money. I want the DDM Works big brake kit. I want a rear disc conversion. I want it all. It's just a matter of prioritizing and saving, and even when it's cheap, it's expensive. It's going back to the Track Day Motorsports discussion. Need more money. I need a raise or something. Need a better paying job or something. Though that's not to say I don't like my job. I love my job. So yeah, Mazda 3 Turbo, all-wheel drive, super cool. Glad Mazda finally did it. And yeah, I I hope that I can have a go in it when they finally come out. Sip break. We're like 20 minutes in, I think I can say it. I'm having a Miller High Life. It's not yellow water, like I said to be advertiser friendly earlier, but I think it's within the first 20 minutes. No alcohol references, so cheers, kids. So speaking of the Mazda 3 Turbo, I'm moving into a small motorsports, back into motorsports, but not my own motorsports. Anyone who was getting excited about the Mazda 3 TCR effort in the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge, unfortunately, the TCR program has been canceled, if you haven't already heard, as a result of COVID-19, I imagine. Excuse me. So that's unfortunate. I was looking forward to being able to cheer on a more road car related Mazda Motorsports effort, even though it was going to be a Mazda 3 in body only. It was going to have the Volkswagen Audi Global TCR powertrain, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. At least we still got the turbo road car. Mazda Cosmo. And now that's something. But yeah, so I wanted to touch on that since we were talking about the Mazda 3 Turbo. Unfortunately, the TCR car has been canceled, so that's a downer. Moving on in the motorsports column to the DPI efforts in the WeatherTech Championship. The DPI operation, they're going to be moving back to one car starting in 2021, which is unfortunate. But, HK, hang on. Yeah, you can put an axle back exhaust on an automatic. It's not going to hurt anything. It might not sound very good because you know, but yeah, it'll fit. It'll bolt right on. By all means, if you want to put an exhaust on your automatic too, go for it. Anything that you can do to a manual too, other than manual specific things like the AWR rear engine mount, clutch things, you know, things like that. All the suspension, brakes, exhaust, intake, whatever, it all works on an automatic. So by all means, if you have an automatic one and you feel like Mazda, yes, I actually am going to be talking about Mazda's arguable revival of the rotary engine momentarily. But yes, going back to IMSA stuff, the DPI operation, unfortunately, they're moving to one car next year, but that's in preparation for the next generation prototype. The anyone who's familiar with IMSA stuff, the LMDH platform that'll be coming in 2022, 2023, around there. So they're scaling back one car just to focus funding and resources on the new car, which will essentially be more or less the same thing, but it'll be required to have a hybrid system. But I'm just glad that Mazda is sticking around for the LMDH regulations because they'll be able to go back and race in the 24 Hours of Le Mans, which is super exciting. That'll be hopefully it'll be a second golden age for sports car racing, endurance sports car racing, because they were really hitting a stride in the past few years. It's kind of winding down because of COVID and the approach of new regulations. So there's that out of the way. I just wanted to step into the motorsports corner there for a second and talk about the 3TCR and the DPI program. So there's all that. God, I'm running out of things to talk about. I'm going to have to open it up to open discussion and Q&A here soon. I've got one more thing that I wanted to discuss. Has anyone seen the Mazda MX30, that new fully electric crossover? Because I really like it. Yeah, I am all about the MX30. It's really good looking, and you know, if I had any use or the money, yeah, look up the MX30. It probably won't make it to North America for a while. They're already on sale in Japan, I believe. It kind of looks like a Toyota FJ Cruiser, but with Mazda styling because it's got the two big front doors and then it's got little suicide doors in the back. Um, yeah. It's got the little suicide doors. I like the styling. Well, it's all electric, but you can and going back to rotary engine discussion, apparently you can get the MX30 with a little one rotor rotary engine range extender, which a lot of people were pissed off about because they're, bring back the RX-7 because they don't know how naming schemes work. Um, yeah, apparently the MX30, you can get it fitted with a little rotary range extender, which is pretty cool. And yeah, it's a good looking car. I wish that I wish I wasn't just on my phone. I wish I had a more sophisticated setup for live broadcast so I could pull up pictures of it. But if you haven't already seen it, and you're on a computer or wherever you're watching, look up the MX30. It's pretty cool looking. I mostly wanted to bring that up to discuss how people got trolled and got upset that it has a rotary engine, but only in range extender form, not driving the wheels. And even if it did drive the wheels, people would be all pissy because it's in an SUV and. People suck. So yeah, I wanted to bring that up real quick. The MX30. So, do I think? I think it'll be plenty reliable, being an electric car, and I know that Mazda and Toyota are teaming up on their electric and hybrid technologies. They're building an entire factory dedicated to it here in the United States, not too far from me in Alabama. Um, I think it'll be a fine car. It won't be any less reliable than any other Mazda car. Um, and, you know, I'm not one to say that electric cars are better for the environment because the entire process to manufacture an electric car is worse for the environment than the car itself is. But I just more jobs and chances. Yeah, it's the whole thing with Mazda and Toyota is I fear that eventually Toyota is going to either absorb Mazda or buy them out basically, and the vehicle sharing will become a lot more than just the IA. Um, it would be nice if Mazda would release a new RX series car. A couple years ago, they did patent a turbocharged two-rotor engine in a rear-wheel drive configuration, but that patent didn't seem to go anywhere. And I imagine if anything would have happened, it would have been this year, 2020, Mazda's 100th anniversary. But, COVID happened, so if there was any shred of that happening, um, any shred left, I should say, that probably went out the window. God, it's hot in here. Sorry for my sweaty brow, but yeah, there are a lot of positives to Mazda and Toyota teaming up, but there are a couple downsides that I fear, because I like what Mazda is doing as an independent car company, and I just wish that they could be more successful as an independent car company. Yeah, the chair isn't helping, but also like I'm there's no air conditioning in here. It's Florida. It hasn't gotten cold yet despite being or cool, I should say. It doesn't really get properly cold here, but it's warm, it's humid, but I'm like off the chair, trying not to sweat and to be in frame. So yeah, that goes for the Toyota discussion. Let me see if I missed any comments. No, I don't think I really missed anything. Oh, I'm guessing if the rotary runs at a constant RPM, it's more reliable. The deal with rotaries and having their reputation for being unreliable, the RX-8 didn't help, but a properly prepared rotary engine is plenty reliable. Uh, Take, for example, and yes, running at a constant RPM, it's actually super efficient and relatively reliable compared to anything else. But a properly prepared rotary engine is a-okay. They're perfectly fine. I mean, they still burn a lot of oil and they get like truck fuel economy, but where the rotary engine really shines is in racing. Take for example the 787B that won the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1991. They took the engine apart, and after running the 24 hours, they said they could have slapped it right back together as it was, and it could have run another 24 hours. And I believe it. Rotaries are great for racing, not so much for road cars. But running at a constant RPM is a range extender in an electric car. That's different. But it goes the same for a gas engine. A gas engine or a diesel engine running at a constant RPM, it's more efficient than anything. So there's that. Did I miss anything else? Nissan dropping going back to the hoping there would be another RX car. I don't know how to feel about that 400Z. Like I don't think it's hideous. Um, the rumors going around that it's just a rebodied 370Z with a different engine, which, whatever. I'm gonna leave it to the aftermarket to take care of the looks, because they always do. That's the funny thing about new cars. People get all up in arms about a new car when it comes out, about the styling or whatever. Let the aftermarket take care of it. They generally do, especially when it's a hype machine like a Supra or a Z car or something. People get so upset, like nothing can be changed. Yeah, that was my little mini rant about that. Uh, if I don't like the weather in Florida, wait an hour. Exactly. It's actually supposed to rain here in the next couple of days, which will be nice. But but yes, give it time. Hey, Canary Islands. That's a far trip. Thank you for tuning in. That's awesome. Hang on. What was whoops. Nope, I didn't want to report. Oh my god, just show me the chat. Sorry everybody. I'm trying to see that. Case in point, look at what Ford is letting their buyers do to the yeah. Yeah, I mean Ford, but Ford can afford. Ford can afford. Ford has the overhead. They have the funding. They're one of the biggest car companies in the world. They can afford to, when people complain, to say, "Give me what I want." They can go, "Okay, whatever. We'll give you what you want." Someone like Mazda can't go, "Oh, we'll give you whatever you want," because they don't have the millions, billions of dollars it costs to develop a given thing, like a manual transmission that'll work with all-wheel drive and 320 pound-feet of torque in the Mazda 3, for example. Not for the amount of people, or not for the amount of units that will move in manual, if that makes any sense. They're gonna sell, if they offered both, they would sell probably 80% automatics. So it doesn't make financial sense for them to develop manual to go with it. But yeah, Ford with the Bronco, and oh man, speaking, I know this is the mostly Mazda vidcast, but I'm getting off on a tangent a little bit with the 400Z and the Ford Bronco. Now that's something I want, is a new Bronco, like and well, and it wouldn't be for me so much. It would be for my partner who she needs something bigger than a two. So we really want to save up and get her a new Bronco, like a second year one. We're obviously not going to try and buy one now when it's brand new. Let them work the kinks out. But maybe in a few years we can get her a little two-door Bronco or something, and it would probably be a base model with the Sasquatch package, if I'm honest, because, you know, we're going to modify it anyway to make it look cool. So why get it with a bunch of crap that you're going to change? So yeah, that's something I really want is a new Bronco, and I'd get it with the four banger. I don't care. Doesn't matter. It's not like we need all that power. She certainly doesn't. So whatever. I don't care if it doesn't have the V6 if we get a base model. Anyway, let me see. Lifted PT Cruiser. Now that would be funny. If there, hell, if there were any on the road. I don't know the last time I saw a PT Cruiser. Son of a bitch. I can't get the comments to come back up. There we go. Honestly, the biggest hype that's going for me now is the fact that the Evo 3 and Celica GT4 are now legal to own. Yeah, importation is always fun, but of course you also get the JDM car markup. Like, I still can't believe that Skyline GTSs, like the little rear-wheel drive ones, non-turbos even, are still like 15 grand. Like, come on, saturate the market with Skylines already so we don't have to pay 20 grand to get them. I understand if it's a minty GTR, but like a regular old boring ass Skyline. It's a crusty 30-year-old car. It's like any other piece of shit on the road that's that old. And the reason why it's coming here is because they don't want them in Japan, because they're just cars. So price it like a crusty 25-year-old shit pile, like it should be. But I understand there's importation fees, but I know that these people go over to Japan, they pay nothing to get these old-ass Skylines, and then they pay a few grand to put it in a container to bring it over here, and then they turn a huge profit by selling it for 20 grand, 15, 20 grand. It's ridiculous. You would think by now with all the Skylines coming over here, the markup wouldn't have stuck around, but you know, people keep buying them, so it doesn't help. Anyone have any Mazda 2 questions? Because that's something I can really talk about. Japanese dealers are amazing. Yeah, and like the auctions, like one of my dreams in life is to go to Japan and buy a car at auction that I can legally import, and like you see like good stuff go for like 500 or 1,000 US dollars because they don't want it there anymore. So that'd be fun to go buy a car in Japan and bring it back. Oh my god, I keep opening up the wrong thing. Okay. Alright, I'm getting some 2 questions. Any little project on the 2 that I started and then gave up on? Well, when I was working on the livery earlier, I mentioned that earlier, there's a livery on the car now. There was a portion of it that I thought I wanted to have, and I got like a quarter of the way through it, and decided that I didn't want it, so I tore off the vinyl. So that was a project that I recently gave up on. Generally speaking, I don't give up on too many projects on this car. I kind of power through. If anything, I just put it off till later. I like half finish it. But okay, all right. I'm getting a lot of questions here. If anyone's feeling sassy and they want to help me with my track day goals and for generating more content, I'm not going to diagnose anything for free. If you want to kick me a couple bucks to like diagnose maladies with your car, I'd be happy to do that. But I'm going to try and get through all these questions. I'm not trying to make a soulless cash grab out of this, but Super Chat goes a long way to not only content creation, but making me happy. So if anyone's feeling generous, sassy this evening. All right, back to questions. Let's go back. How's the wiper going? It's good. Having the one center wiper is amazing. It worked out great. I recommend it to anyone who doesn't have a vehicle inspection. Where do I put the wires from the engine to the cab without being in hoop and routing through the door? It's funny you should say that because I ran a wire for these fog lights just behind the fender and through the door. Excuse me. I really want to send that wire through the firewall so it's not so janky. But don't feel bad about running a wire through like the fender door area. Um, Chili Cap, what do you mean by headlight mod? Like projectors or the mod I've already done to remove the orange lenses? Um, do I know if there's any more aftermarket yellow fog lights for the two? I would just use yellow tint, but the German police have a stick up their ass. I don't know of any sets of lights themselves that are yellow. You could get yellow bulbs, but if the German police don't like them being yellow because of is it because of the film over the lights, or do they not like that there's the color? Is it the color or the fact that there's a film over the light? That's what I want to know. I don't know any that are yellow as they come. You either got to put a film on it or put yellow bulbs in it. Or you could if it's not an issue with color, you could get the spray stuff that tints glass. Bulbs are allowed, lenses too, but film isn't allowed. If yellow fog lights in general are acceptable and you want them to be yellow and you don't want just the bulbs to be yellow, you could get that stuff that sprays on and tints glass yellow. They make that, I don't know what it's called. I just have film on mine, but you could look that up. There is a spray on coating that will tint your glass on your fog lights yellow, and you can get around there being a film on there. It's the ADAC in Germany, isn't it, that does all your road laws, or is that someone else? Or is it TÜV? I don't know. I don't know what the German sanctioning body for car laws is. Uh, uh, um, 2011 update the radio. Sorry, Roger, I could not give less of a crap about radios or in-car entertainment. Like, the radio in both my cars are stock. I don't plan on changing them. The speakers, too. I really don't care. So I get questions occasionally about radio stuff. Um, and yeah, I just really don't give a crap about in-car entertainment. I roll down the windows and listen to the exhausts. So sorry I can't help you with that. Um, 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 you want to change your steering wheel, but you want to know if it's worth the money and if it's a great. If you don't have vehicle inspection and you're fine with removing an airbag from the car, like if you can get away with it, by all means, I'm happy that I changed my steering wheel. It's it's really cool. Am I ever going to throw a cage in there? I have a bolt-in roll bar. I made a video about that recently. I don't know about a full stupid cage, maybe one day, but I've got a roll bar in there. So go back and in the archive and look for that video. It was fairly recent on that, and that I love. It is TÜV, yeah. Uh, uh, uh. Projector mod. No, I mean, if anything for the headlights, if I want projectors, I'll just buy a set of projector headlights from an overseas market car. They're like $400 or $500 for a set. It's just something I don't want to spend money on. And the headlights I have work fine with the high performance halogen bulbs in them. So plus I've got these big ridiculous things on the front, so if I need more light output, it's fine. Hola, no habla español. Sorry, um, but I appreciate you. Um, um, Message retracted. Any ideas on my next performance mod? Well, I would really like to get a tune done, um, but that's it's like $400 or $500 all in with the computer and everything. But I'd really like to get a tune done. There's not a whole lot of big things that I want to do. I mostly want to focus money on just getting more seat time, doing more track days, and focusing on the consumables tied to that, brakes and tires and stuff. I really just want to spend more time on track. I've really got the car mostly sorted how I would like it, and so yeah, no real big things uh, coming in the near future. I should put, for my Hispanic and Latino subscribers, I get a comment about this every once in a while about subtitles on the videos. Like they're not they're not automatically generated. Like they have to be typed out, and I don't know enough Spanish. Like I can get around, I can ask for the bathroom, I can say please and thank you and things like that, but like full descriptive subtitles, yeah, I someone has to do it, and I don't know if that costs anything, or if someone at YouTube does it doesn't appear. So I think someone has to type them up manually. So unfortunately, it I wish I could better serve everyone, because I know I have a global audience on here. It's just not feasible. It's a volunteer thing. So maybe I can look into that. Getting subtitles added to just learn. Oh, cerveza, I know that word. I've got one right here. I know, and it's and coming from me being an American, and Americans love to say just learn. Um, I would like to learn a little bit more. I'd like to learn more Japanese and more German, because my family is German. I'm first generation German American, and I barely know any of it. But I definitely will look into getting subtitles. I don't know where it'll go, but I do get requests for that pretty often. It's just if I had to do it, it would add a lot more work the to the work I already have to do to make these videos and stuff. Did I miss anything? It's interesting going back to the wait, hang on. Yeah, Octopus, the orange lens delete. Um, it was tougher than you would think. It's tougher than most people would think. I'm not afraid to dig into something and maybe eventually screw it up, but it's it's not difficult, but it is a to do, if that makes any sense. If you're not comfortable doing it, like every once in a while I'll notice there's a fingerprint on the inside of one of these lenses, and it bugs me to no end. And I just don't want to reopen the lights to clean the fingerprint from the inside. But it's a to do. It's not complicated. But it's something someone can do. If you're not comfortable doing it, I don't recommend it. But if you're not afraid to screw something up, or if you're dumb like me, by all means, go for it. That's not a very good video either. My garage back then at the old house was so dirty. I look back at my old videos sometimes and I go, my God, what was I thinking? I mean, this garage is kind of messy sometimes, but I think sometimes, oh goodness, what was I thinking having my garage that dirty? Uh, uh, um, what do I think of the DJ Mazda 2? I think they're pretty cool. I wish that Mazda sold them here, and they didn't have to be a Toyota. And even at that point, they're not a Toyota anymore. The DJ Mazda 2 is like gone after 2020 or 2021 from North America. No one buys them. No one buys small cars here. I'd love to have a go in one because I'll try anything once. I guess the closest experience I had to a DJ Mazda 2 was driving a CX3, which not a very accurate representation. Shockingly cramped interior. Like the interior of this car feels bigger than that of a CX3, which, considering they share the platform, you know. Let's see. I try to be good at English. That's okay. Your French to English is working just fine. Are there any mods that I've done and regretted or reverted? Boy, that's a thinker. I don't think so. Um, I generally don't undo things. Like if I want something, I think about it. If I'm gonna do a mod, I think about it for quite a bit before I actually do it. So if anything that I've done, it has generally been something that I've really wanted and would be okay living with. But of course, I haven't done anything super dumb, ridiculous. Uh, am I ever gonna do roof racks? Maybe on the green car. Um, I yes, I do regret that quick release, which I sent back immediately because it was garbage, and I got a refund. And I get flack for that all the time from because people in the drift community are shockingly okay with having shitty parts on their cars. It's amazing how many drift videos I see of people with like cheap steering wheels, and like as they're spinning, you can see the steering wheel wobbling back and forth because it's one of those cheap eBay wheels. And people come in my comments all the time and they're like, "Oh, mine was fine. Oh, you've got it out for D&D performance." I'm like, eat shit. Like I don't have it out for them. They sold me a bad product and I'm telling you about it. Like, come on. That's the point of reviews. If no one gave negative reviews, people would just be buying bad products all over the place. Yeah, Wish parts are garbage. I don't think I would buy anything off of Wish, but I'm starting to think that that D&D Performance quick release I got was a Wish part because it looks suspiciously like those cheapy peepy ones that they sell on Amazon and things like that. So yeah, I guess that's one thing I would regret, that quick release, which I now have a nice machined billet spacer instead, which works really good. I don't need it to be quick release, so whatever. Um, do I know if it's true that the main difference between the 1.3 and 1.5 is a different crankshaft? Yes, the 1.3 liter and 1.5 liter Mazda 2, it's the same engine. It's just the 1.3 has a different stroke. It's all the same stuff. I don't know if it's shorter rods or a different crankshaft, but that's all it is. Same bore, different stroke. And in the 1.6 liter Mazda 3, also the same engine, but it has a bigger stroke than the 1.5. So that's how you get 106 horsepower with a 1.6 liter MZR and 100 with the 1.5. It's not worth tearing into. I'll say that much. I get questions about that all the time. Should I 1.5 swap my 1.3 liter Mazda 5? No, sell the 1.3 and just buy one with a 1.5. It's easier and probably cheaper in the end. Way less problems. It's one thing I've learned through all of my car experiences is just buy the one you want to start with. Don't mess around with engine swaps and it's just you got to have a bottomless pit of money to mess around with that stuff. If you want a 1.5 liter Mazda 2, just buy one. Is a turbo Mazda 2 worth it? if you've got $10,000, like 10,000 US dollars or the equivalent to burn on custom work and fabrication and, various things that can go wrong, if you've got $10,000 burning a hole in your bank account, then sure, I bet it's worth it. I've never driven a forced induction Mazda 2. I have an open invite to drive a supercharged one it makes like 170 wheel horsepower. I think with a few pounds of boost, like 180 wheel horsepower, this thing would be a rocket ship, and that's all you need. But when you get into turbocharging and supercharging and things like that, there are sacrifices you have to make, namely reliability. So it's not in the cards for me. Not in any kind of near future, I would say. But yeah, probably worth it to someone. It's not worth it to me right now. Nice back with a bit in stream. Do I like the stiff ride of the Mazda 2 suspension, especially in the back? Well, I never ride in the back because there is no back seat in my car, and I'm always driving. I don't have a problem with the suspension, especially modified suspension. I mean, I have Fortunato digressive piston shocks in my coil. I have $1,400 coilovers on this car. I could have gone more crazy with that, and honestly, they could use a rebuild, but I'm fine with lowered Mazda 2 suspension. Like, have you seen all the things I've done with this car? I don't care if it rides like, I don't care if it rides like a go-kart, because it is one. Let's see. Thinking about putting camber kit on my Mazda. What do you think about that? I think it's absolutely worth it. Just keep in mind that you're going to need an alignment immediately after. And I did do a video on how to install camber bolts. So yeah, it adds a little over 2 degrees of negative camber on the front, and it'll drastically help with your turn-in handling. So yeah, it's worth it. It's definitely good when paired with lowering springs and some bigger wheels and tires. So yeah, camber kit, super cheap. Just keep in mind that you're going to need an alignment afterward. Do I have a fire extinguisher? No, and I don't feel like I need one. I probably should, just in case of an on-track emergency, but no, I don't have one fitted to the car yet. Yeah, I see people in the group and think, why, all the time. I can tell you right now, Turbo Mazda 2 is not worth it. It's been 4 years and it's been a nightmare. See? That's what I'm saying. When you heavily modify something, it's not as simple as you think, especially with a modern car with more modern electronics. It's not like some old crap Civic where you can just slap a turbo on it and like bolt an FMU on there and just have all the fuel you need. It's and the thing that bothers me most when I get questions about forced induction on the Mazda 2 is that for most of us, this is our only car. And taking your only car and making it arguably unreliable is such a bad idea. It's not worth it, which is why I say that a turbocharged or supercharged forced induction Mazda 2 is worth it to someone. I don't know who that person is, but it's definitely someone who this isn't their only car. And this is my only car, so it's not going to happen anytime soon. So unfortunately, I won't have any kind of turbo content for the channel. As much as I would like to, it's just not in the cards. The only 1.5s I could find in Germany were automatic, but I'm happy with the 1.3 and wouldn't mess with the internals. Good strategy. LS1 Mazda 2. Yeah, in the middle. A V8 in the middle with a transaxle rear-wheel drive, that'd be pretty cool. Although I wouldn't do an LS. I'd probably do something stupid like a Mazda V6 with a transaxle rear end. But, that's definitely something I'll never have money for. Fun facts, all the mods I did for the 2 is from the channel. Haha! Yes, and that's why I make the channel, to help people be inspired and enjoy their Mazda too. The more people intos and enjoying them makes the world a happier place. Do I have a first aid kit? No. Uh, you, I really don't go that far from home, especially now in COVID times. Like, the furthest I go from home is maybe an hour away, and that'll be to my parents or, on a long drive. But no, I don't keep that kind of stuff in my car. I want a turbo. Yeah, exactly. If you want a turbo, turn off the AC and traction control. Exactly. It's shocking how much power the AC robs from this car. I think someone did a dyno test with a stock 2, and having the AC on while doing a dyno pull sapped like 20 horsepower or something ridiculous. It's so funny. For daily driving, 1.5 is fast. Exactly. A 1.5 is fast enough anywhere. The thing that people don't understand is that speed isn't just horsepower. Because eventually there's going to be a corner. And you're going to have to know how to navigate through that corner. And if you can navigate through that corner as quickly as the car will go, then you're going fast. Horsepower isn't everything, kids. I say this all the time. I'm getting myself another adult beverage. If anyone else has any super chats or questions they want answered or anything like that, I know I keep bringing it up, but populate the chat with things for me to talk about, because I'm not ready to finish. Cries in Mustang. Ooh, big shout out to AWR Racing for the bottle opener. This thing comes in handy all the time. Hashtag Team AWR if you need motor mounts for your Mazda or Ford, particularly your Mazda 2. What is the make and model of that chair? I have no idea. It was a second-hand gift to me. It's probably a Lazy Boy. It was given to me by my in-laws, and they tend to spend money on expensive things, so it's probably a Lazy Boy. I don't know. It's supposed to be connected to electricity, like it power reclines, and it has a massage function and all that. I just have it sitting in the garage as somewhere to sit comfortably. It's not connected to power, but it's a big bear of a chair. It's just, Yeah, if you're able to get them, if you want your headlights to be brighter and you can get them where you are, look into the Hella H4P50. I made a video on those. They're for a halogen bulb, they're the ones I recommend. What was your biggest almost hit? I honestly don't have a lot of near misses with this car. I've had pretty big hits in other cars of mine that I owned previously, but I don't think I've had any close calls other than people lazily merging without checking their mirrors and things like that. I've never had like a big moment in this car where I thought for sure behind the wheel I was like, all right, this is when this car gets totaled. I haven't had that moment yet. Fingers crossed, knock wood. Yeah. And now that we've brought it up, I'm jinxed. What was my first car? I'm gonna go way out on a limb, and it's another Mazda. My first car technically, it was a car that was technically my dad's, and I borrowed it to like go to work and stuff. Was a 1991 Mazda MX-6 GT, the one with the turbo engine and the sunroof and the adaptive suspension, all that crap, which was amazing in 1991 technology. Like having adaptive shocks, EDFC at the push of a button in 1991 was crazy. Plus, that thing was a 2.2 liter single cam 4 cylinder with a itty bitty turbo on it, and that thing was a rocket ship because my dad put a giant downpipe on that little bitty turbo. It had a 3-inch turbo back exhaust, and that thing torque steered, and it was all stock except for that ridiculous exhaust. And that thing would rear up like this. It would be torque steering all over the road. So that was the first car I really like drove regularly. But my first actual car that was mine to use and have was a 2002 Protege 5, also silver, and I miss that car all the time. Despite it having a really junk engine, that was a really good car. That was probably the last, one of the better, one of the last analog cars that Mazda made, because it had no electric nannies, it didn't have ABS, it was hydraulic power steering, no anti-lock brakes, no stability control. That was probably the last true analog car I had. This is way better, but I miss my P5 all the time. That was such a good car, and I had a lot of good memories in that car, and I wish I had it now. I mean, kind of wish I had it now. I'm happy I have the two. I love the two. I don't see me ever getting rid of it. Thread locker on my arms are yeah, locked blue Loctite works on anything that you want to be tight but eventually remove again. Where did I get my small thing on the top of the car for the radio? Oh, the my short antenna. Um, my antenna on the roof is actually the stock one that I just shortened using math that I learned from someone in the Mazda 2 owners group. There's a video about it in my archive. So if you want to go back and look into how to shortening your stock antenna, because the stock antenna on the 2 is like an RC car. It's ridiculous. But there is a way to shorten it and still have good signal. So go back and check out that video. It's really old. It's like one of the first 10 videos. You did math. I mean, I arguably did math. No, someone else did math, and I just copied it for monetization purposes. Um, your 2 came with sport suspension. Does it affect mileage negatively? I thought since the car is more stable, close to the right. Really, the only thing that affects mileage in the 2 is your right foot. You wouldn't think it, but this thing can be really efficient if you want it to be, but if you just drive like you don't care, it gets like maybe 30 miles per gallon max, which is still really good, but like I've stopped caring about fuel economy. I just drive the car and I go like 250 miles on a tank cuz like whatever. Plus the tank's really small in this car, but no, I don't believe that. That's the point I was getting to. No, I don't believe that sport suspension uh, affects fuel economy negatively. If anything, it helps because you're making the car lower to the ground and helping it to cut through the air a little bit better. What I bet would really help with fuel economy in this car is an under tray. I eventually want to fabricate up a whole splitter under tray thing for it, mostly for aerodynamics, and mostly for dumb race car aesthetic. But I bet having an under tray on this car would really help with fuel economy because there's nothing under there and there's just air swirling around. I'd be interested to see what a difference that would make. But no, by all means, keep your car lowered or lower it in the first place. Just eyeballed it without the math as well. Turns out it doesn't work very well. Yeah, the information I got on cutting the antenna is from an electrical engineer. So I'm going to take their word and do the math that they said to do. Which is why I included that in the video. Just eyeballing it, because I guess when it comes to a metal antenna and receiving signal, there are certain increments of length at which it will receive radio signals, and if you don't follow that, it won't. Mine works fine, but I followed the math. Anybody else got any questions? We're at an hour and 10 minutes here. I really needed a sip. Yeah, as far as driving the two efficiently, shockingly, the owner's manual says the ideal shift point for fuel economy is 2,000 RPM, which you gotta be driving like a granny, putting along to shift at 2,000 RPM. But really, generally speaking, it's load. It's not just how high the RPMs go; it's how much you're laying into the pedal. Load at the pedal is what really seems to make the fuel economy. Like if you're mashing it and only revving to 3 grand and then shifting, you're still burning all kinds of gas. The secret to fuel economy is the car's perceived load. You want as little load on the car as possible because it's doing the least amount of work. And that's how you get like 40 miles per gallon if you're really trying. Of course, I've got all this crap on the front, these big lights and stuff. I can't imagine that's helping my fuel economy. But yeah, alignment and a light foot and maybe a little bit of aerodynamics go a long way. Do I think a K&N panel filter adds power? Absolutely not. But it's nice because they're reusable. So there's that. You can wash a K&N filter and reuse it, so you don't have to keep buying filters and stuff. So there's a bonus to that. But the gimmick that a K&N filter, a filter alone, like a panel filter, isn't going to add horsepower in a car. I think Mighty Car Mods might have debunked that. I think they did an actual dyno test. And someone did like an actual dyno test of like a stock paper filter versus a K&N versus like a cold air intake, and a K&N filter made like half a horsepower or something, and that was just on that day with those given situations. But a K&N drop-in filter isn't going to make any kind of power increase that you're going to be able to feel. So there's that. But there's an upside in that it's washable and reusable. Hey, losing 40 pounds is like the equivalent of adding 2 horsepower to the 2. So there's that. You could always take weight out of the car as well. Antenna hack is on your to-do list. It absolutely should be, because shortening the stock antenna looks really good. Like aftermarket antennas, like I've got one right here. Aftermarket antennas, just like the one on the green car broke at one point, so I just hopped on like Amazon and bought the cheapest one there. This was like $5, and it has a knockoff Mazda Speed logo on it, and it has fake carbon fiber that'll fade in the sun, and it looks like crap on the car because the base doesn't match the one on the car, and it's just dumb. I got one of those. Yeah, Mazda 3 antenna at one point, and I'm ashamed to admit this, but at one point the antenna on my Protege 5 broke, and the Mazda 3 had a short antenna on it from the factory, and I nicked one once. That was many years ago. Statute of limitations is up, and I feel guilty about it even now, but also it was from a dealer, so they have a parts supply, but that's how I got a shorty antenna on my P5. Admitting to crimes on my own YouTube channel. I covered my thoughts on the DJ Mazda 2 a little bit earlier. Love them, want to have a go in one. Shame that they're going away from North America, even badged as a Toyota. Yeah, honestly, like, I have not seen an aftermarket antenna yet that works on the two as well as a shortened stock one. But that's just my personal preference. I like the idea of like a thick base and a little bitty antenna. Thoughts on the CX30 turbo and the 3 turbo? I covered the 3 turbo earlier. The CX30, I I really don't have that much of an opinion about because I'm frankly don't like the looks that much. It's all plastic fender arches. Like they overdid it with the plastic fender arches, I think. Like if like the CX9 plastic fender arches are like as big as I'll go, or like a first generation CX5 maybe, but like the CX30, there's like full on, it looks like 6 inches of black plastic on each wheel well, or each fender arch, and it just I don't like it. I bet with the turbo engine though, I bet it's for an SUV, I bet it's a rocket ship. Uh, my mom has an NA 2.5 liter CX5, and hers hauls ass with 185 horsepower. So I can imagine even a CX5 with the turbo engine and all that torque must just move. And a CX30, smaller, lighter, um, will be super fast, and I'm super excited about I really want to figure out how to have a go in a Mazda 3 turbo when they come out, because it can't be that much heavier. It's probably lighter than like an old Mazda Speed 3 or a Speed 6, and it's got all that torque and almost as much horsepower. I bet it hauls, and I really want to figure out a way to try one when they come out. I've got a connection at a Mazda dealer. Maybe I can massage them a little bit to let me go in a demo model or something. I really need to figure out how to get on the press car game, but I also don't live like in California where everyone gets their press cars. I just need to get a job at Motor Trend. That's what I need. Spoiler of the Mazda 2 Sport. Yeah, I actually want to get an OEM spoiler for mine, because mine, of course, here in the United States, the Sport is the base model that has nothing on it, and then Touring is the one with all the nice stuff. I know over in Europe, the Sport is the one with all the stuff on it, and it model designations in different markets are funny to me. But yeah, the Sport over here has no options. But I do want to get an OEM spoiler fitted to mine eventually. My dad paints cars, so all I have to do is buy one for like $70, and he'll paint it, and he might even put it on for me if I ask him nice. But it's one of those things that I don't need right now to get on a racetrack, so I haven't really wanted to spend that kind of money on it. You have a Touring with all the utility stuff, but no spoiler. Is it is that like a? Are you in Canada? Because I know there's the GX model in Canada that's like a mix between a US Sport and a US Touring. But because I've seen there's like a preferred package in Canada where you can have a Mazda 2 Sport with like cruise control and things like that, but no fog lights and no spoiler and anything. It's weird. Uh, I will say this though, the North America or the United States market got hosed on Mazda 2 trim levels, because like in Japan, in the home market, they've got all these fun trim levels and different color schemes. Like there's a trim level of the 2 in Japan called the Sky Active Shooting Star, and I want one just for the name, even though it's a CVT with a 1.3 liter. I still want a shooting star. It's a silly thing, but if I ever move to Japan, maybe. Um, oh, cool. I missed that comment earlier. You've got Yaris, but took a lot of your mod inspiration from me. Well, I appreciate it. I mean, all these little B spec cars, or B segment cars, it pretty much it all applies. They're all more or less the same with different looks. Um, I missed one. I have a K&N, but feel no performance increase. I have a Mazda 2 Sport. What mod should I add next? Add whatever you want. There's all kinds of things on this channel that can inspire you. People ask me like what they should do next all the time, and it's whatever you want. I can't tell you what you want. At least I'm not the kind of person who's good at telling people what they want. I just make videos about what I want, and people just happen to like it, like the things, and want the same for their cars. So, whatever your next mod, make it whatever you want. There's plenty of inspiration here on the channel if you want to have a browse around. Oh, Germany still. Yeah. Sorry, I lost track on who's who. Through what brakes should I upgrade to on my 2? Depends on what you're doing. If you're just doing some spirited on-road driving, then some slight. Actually, if it's primarily a road car, just more OEM brakes. The factory provided Mazda 2 brakes are the best. If you're doing track stuff, then you want to upgrade to a track compound and some high temp fluid. It all depends on what you're doing with the car. Like I've got dumb Hawk HP Plus track pads on my car, and they dust like crazy, and all 4 of my wheels are stained with brake dust now, but whatever, race car aesthetic. It all depends on what you're doing. Just do a little bit of research. CVT, it burns. Yeah, in Nissans mostly. There is a version of the 2 that had a CVT with paddle shifters, with simulated gear ratios. It was a 7-speed CVT. It was the Mazda 2 Sport, or the Demio Sport in Japan. It had a 7-speed or 7 ratio CVT, 7-speed manual mode for the CVT. I really want to try that out, even though it's a CVT, whatever. But I'd like to try out a 2 with paddle shifters, even if it's not going to like a true good automatic or dual clutch. They have a speed limiter on those models? I don't know which models specifically you're referring to. I know that the North American 2, I think, is computer limited to 113 miles an hour. It's 113 or 115, some arbitrary number. It's electronically governed to. Not that it can go any faster. The fastest I've ever gone in this thing was about that on track at Daytona International Speedway, but the fastest I've ever gone not on a racetrack has been like 110, because you need a lot of room to get going to this car's top speed. Do I think a repaint on the top, like from the window level up, is bad look-wise? I don't know. You would have to do it the right way. Honestly, if I was gonna do like a 2-tone paint job on the 2, I would probably do like the center section of the hood there and leave the sides the stock color. I'm trying to like coordinate my hands. I would do like the center of the hood and the roof, and then the sides a different color maybe. It all depends on personal preference, but you got to do it right. Just like don't do the whole hood a different color or something, because that looks like crap. A DDM Works short shift kit does add 50 horsepower in cool factor. It certainly feels a lot better. It feels 50 horsepower worth of better, if that makes any sense. I did try to wrap... Yes, I did try to wrap the roof. How did I get the antenna off? That was a bitch and a half. So what you got to do is you got to take off the little dome light in the headliner. You can just pop it out with a screwdriver, a flathead, and there's a nut on the bottom of the roof that holds the antenna down, and you just undo. There's one or two nuts. You just undo those and unplug a wire, and off comes the antenna. But it's a pain in the ass if you don't want to drop the headliner. If you drop the headliner, it would make it a lot easier. But you can get to it by just taking out that little dome light in there. 84 minutes. We're still going. All right, I'm probably going to wrap this up here soon. If anyone has any pressing questions that are worth buying, please get those in now. I'm not trying to shake you guys down for money, even though I am. But yeah, if anyone wants to send me money, just do it. I'm just gonna come out with it. Your 1.3 went up to 190. I'm assuming that's, yes, that's kilometers per hour. 190, that's oh god, I'm in no condition to do the math right now. Check engine light comes on when you go fast. Not on mine yet, thankfully. How do you take the headliner out? Like the whole... I haven't removed the whole headliner in the tube because I know if I take the headliner down, I'm going to ruin it, and I'm just never going to put it back in. Eventually, when I go full dumb and I go to remove the side curtain airbags and like make this car wholly unsafe, then I'll drop the headliner. Up until then, I haven't done it yet, and I don't plan on it, because it's tough to take down a headliner on a car and not like crease it and get a bunch of folds in it, and it just ruins it to take it down. Thank you for $5 more, buddy. I really appreciate it. You're really carrying my super chat efforts. I don't have a question but money. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's very kind of you. £5, I will take it. Because I think the pound is up right now above the US dollar. I think. I could be wrong. I constantly track pounds versus dollars because whenever I take my next trip, that is pounds, right? God, I've had one beer and I can't tell kilometers and I can't tell the pound symbol. Someone tell me if that's the pound symbol. Yes, 646. So you agreed with me, so I must be right. I check it all the time because sometimes we're constantly planning for our next trip back to the UK, whenever that will be. And, if... yes, I figured I was right. I have those moments where I get unsure of myself. Thank you. Yeah, we're always looking at the conversions because sometimes we'll pick up some pounds and change them over when the dollar's up or something. She handles all that and stuff. So thank you for your donations. I've got plenty of beer in the fridge, and my mind's already mush after 2, so that's probably not the best. Thank you, everyone, for the donations, though. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up here in the next few minutes. Anyone have any pressing questions? I'm not going to ask you for money, but if anyone has any closing thoughts or questions before we wrap this up, bring them. Could I send you through PayPal? Yes. You could. I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want. Well, I don't use that email really anymore. It's j.chaney33 if you want to PayPal me some money. j.chaney33 I'd appreciate it. You don't have to, but if you want to, that's my PayPal. Anyone who's watching. Taco Bell was wrong to remove the Mexican pizza. See, I don't go that deep on the Taco Bell menu. I just usually get soft tacos with just meat and cheese on them. I don't go crazy, or I get like a 5 layer burrito. Again, what is the size for the headlight bulbs? H4, um, H4 or whatever the equivalent. There's an equivalent to H4, but here I've got. These are the ones that I have fitted to both of my cars, the Hella H4 P50. I really have a an affinity for the Hella brand, but that's mostly because I can't afford Marshalls. I think I pronounced that right, but yeah, or Cibier. If I could afford Cibier lights, I would have a pair of those on the front, or Marshalls. The two. I think they're both French. I know the one with the DOT compliant. I don't know if they're DOT compliant. I live in Florida. It's the Wild West. I can do whatever I want. How bright can you go before setting the front of the car on fire? I don't know. I've got 55-watt bulbs in the actual headlights. I've got the stock whatever bulbs in the fog lights, and these are also 55-watt, and they're bright as shit. So I don't know how much power you could run through the car, but I haven't done it yet. So you can at least run 3 pairs of lights without running out of power and without setting the car on fire. They just came out with LED headlights from Sylvania. Oh, that's what you were talking about. DOT compliant. I don't know about LED bulbs just because they're generally not designed to work in a halogen housing, so they end up just blinding people. It's like putting HIDs in this kind of housing. If they're designed to work like halogens, then maybe. But I just put super bright halogens, and like I said, I've got these big babies in case I need any more light, which generally speaking, unless I'm in the pitch darkness and no one's around, these are enough. Have a great night to you as well, if you're still around. Thank you. How about the funky disco LEDs that change color? I don't know. Maybe for the inside, but yeah, no kidding. That's one thing that I was worried about by putting the Hellas, the big spotlights on the front of the car, which actually, if I ride around with these on, it generally doesn't bother people. Of course, I've got them aimed a certain way. I aimed them in relation to the headlights, so they ended up working out okay. But anyway, I'm getting really sweaty. And I think I've talked enough about two stuff. This one got off to a little bit of a rocky start at the beginning because I couldn't find my words. So the playback on this is going to be a lot of fun. But I got through all my topics and I had fun talking to everybody. Thank you to everyone who sent some dinero over. And I really appreciate that. That'll go to the ad revenue and everything. Anyway, I don't know how to end my videos. You should see all the takes of me trying to end an edited video. So I can never transition out of my own productions. I will just say thank you to everyone for coming and hanging out and chatting with me, sending over a few dollars, and helping me out to meet my goals, and mostly just talking to other people about Mazda 2s. It's a lot of fun. I'm glad that everyone appreciates it, and I definitely appreciate you guys for coming along for the ride. So I guess I will say that's it for me this time. Thank you all for joining me for the Mostly Mazda vidcast, in which I was feeling creative, and I'll see you guys in the next one. End.